What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I finally got all my gear. It is Tuesday, early day. I'm gonna see how I am holding the mic in my hand. I'm feel a little weird. Feel like I'm like doing like an Italian thing. That could have been racist. I'm not sure, but we're gonna try this way and see how it feels. I'm being a bit naive about it because, admittedly, I am being a bit naive about it because I should test it out before. But we're just gonna see how it goes. Because last video was kind of a fluke, to be completely honest with you. But we're gonna try this out and see what happens. Yeah, early day today. I got my meta glasses too, by the way. So all geared up. At first, I was a bit skeptical about it because um, hold on, I got turn. At first, I was skeptical about it because I was like, oh, I feel like it's a little gimmick, like a little gimmick thing. Maybe just plays music. Like, okay, it takes pictures, but it's got a shorter battery life than I expected. But um, hold on, before I say anything else about that, I will say, yeah, it's great. I will say overall it's awesome. I started talking to it like last night, and I've been doing it at all times. Right, I've been talking to it about asking the questions like what is this, what is a projected amount of this, what stuff like that. I just think of that. I'm like, huh, I wonder what that is, or I wonder how he's doing. And then I just asked the medic guys. I'm like, I'm not gonna say it because it's gonna trigger it, but say, hey, blank, what do I do with this? And then it'll tell me, or record a video, whatever. And even better, something I didn't think of or really know about until I got them was that you can actually take a picture and it'll tell you what you're looking at, or even describe what it is, or even find it too. So that is really cool. So yeah, I really like them. They're a little heavier than my other glasses. Obviously, my other glasses were like thinly framed. So, but these are awesome. They look nice. They don't look too bulky. I was also worried about that as well, but they don't look too bulky. I like them. I'm extremely grateful to get them. I'm extremely grateful to be able to have everything that I needed. I remember talking about it before, um, and this is what I wanted. So I'm really happy about it. So I'm gonna make the most of it. I got footage today at work, not too much because obviously I want to limit my footage just to me talking, or if it's just me, I want it to be just me. I don't want anyone else included because I don't want to include anybody else, and I don't want to tell anybody about what I'm watching or what I'm filming. So I don't want to do that to anybody or have them get awkward with me because I don't want to put anybody awkward. They just did to work. They already got to work, and just getting to work is already a hassle in and of itself. So I'm not gonna make anybody go through more hoops just to do their job. So that's where I'm at. I mean, if it gets more popular or whatever, then maybe I'll consider openly asking them because I am putting them in front of the camera and they are in the content. So that's where it gets tricky, So yeah, but yeah, they're awesome. They're great. I listen to music in them. They're seamless. The only person that knew that I had meta glasses on was someone that I told the day before, yesterday, that I was gonna get them. So if it wasn't for them, no one else notices that they're meta glasses. I mean, they look like normal glasses. I mean, if you look at it, if if you're looking for them, or if you're just a little bit tech savvy, like you're gonna see them, right? You're gonna be like, oh, it's meta glasses. But I mean, no one asked about them. No one even knew I probably had different glasses on. So it's not like they were looking at me. It's not that they were looking at me or whatever, but or that could have been as well. It's just that no one noticed. It's not like they're just standing out and like they have a. I mean, the biggest, obviously, the only really big thing is the holes of the camera lenses, but it's not that bad. Um, yeah, I mean, even then, it's hard to tell. We'll go geeked out. It doesn't look too bad to in your face. So they made a really good job. Ray Bans and Meta, they made a really good job at creating something that looks seamless. Nothing too bulky. Nothing that looks a little too silly on you. Because obviously if it looked a little too silly, that was what I was worried about as well. Is just I don't want to have something that was excuse me. I didn't want to have something that was looking kind of goofy. Um, because obviously I don't want to look goofy and I don't want to attract attention. So, but no, they're great. They're awesome. I like them. I'm glad I bought them. I was really skeptical at first. I was like, I think, like I mentioned before, I felt like I was buying a bit of a gimmick. I'm like, maybe I'm just buying something that is all hype. But um, no, this is great. I like it. I like the investment. Uh, I do like the AI. Um, I did ask for not to be opting into the data sharing to creating a better system because I think that is the power we have, and if we normalize that, that is something that will be used against us eventually, and it is being used against us in other methods that I can't exactly cite at this moment, but um, I've seen instances online where data was not opted for and it's been used against people. Not used, may not primarily used against somebody, but it's been used without consent, and I don't want to get that. I don't want to create that or normalize that. I mean, obviously, me personally, I can't change much. It's like me saying I'm not gonna buy stuff at Target. No, it's just me saying like I don't think it's normal to do that. I think there's plenty of data that it could use from other sources, not needing to use data from us because ultimately, we if our data is open source, then the product should be open source. Um, just like AI images, if ChatGPT, if the data itself, if the only data that it's using or the primary data that it's using is solely from humans, from recent times, text messages, stuff like that, interactions, then they themselves, as part of the product, should have the product for free. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be, oh hey, can we use your data, use your knowledge, use your way you talk, whatever, all information. Can we use your person data information as part of our system, but we will not offer this for free because we're going to charge you for this because we're trying to make money. It's like, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's like if I asked you for your help and then I'm like, yeah, well, you're saying I have to buy this. It's like, no, it's like you were part of the creation system. You are going to get it for free. You are entitled to get that as compensation for, at least for compensation for what you used. And to me, it doesn't make any sense. So that was the whole rant. But yeah, that's basically what I'm was. That was my whole point. It's just I opted not to be into the data sharing because again, it's not normal to have that. Does it make it efficient? I'm sure it does. I'm sure it makes it easy for them to have easy data and reference points to then build up on their code. But again, it's not. I don't think it's normal. And this is coming to people that are executives and all that that are putting this on. So yeah, I mean, um, I would not be surprised, just like how it is in China, that give it, I don't know. Well, it's already in China, implemented in China, but give it a couple years, and it would probably introduce, if not normalized, in some recent time. I'm not exactly sure when it would be happening, but systems that would cooperate with AI that would be able to identify anybody within, with any camera, with any reasonable camera footage. You can, the government, anybody would be able to identify who you are, and then be able to find you. So that's not cool, right? Like, why? Yes, yes, those systems would be great for crime awareness. Finding people that are committed the crime, criminals, all that. But as recent events have unfolded, no. In fact, I don't think any government, any entity of power should have that kind of power because, as history has shown, there's no sign of someone having the kind of power or a power like that and not abusing it. So yeah, no, we don't want that either. So let's not normalize that to the sense that they can identify you. Companies would be able to be able to buy information like that. That way, if you walk in a store, um, they can better assess its demographic. Uh, point of sale stuff like, oh, it's Target and Granger has the majority of. They already have this data, but have it down to like, okay, well, at 3 p.m. seems like most nurses something. I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure what kind of data spew I can launch here, but you get the gist. it would be something like that, and then on a global scale, I guess, but in a nationwide scale for yourself. So no matter where you go, it would always know a system would always know where you're at, and that lack of privacy would be normalized, and so on and so forth. And the next generation would feel most of them would probably feel they would feel normalized to that, so they wouldn't fight it. But it's like, oh, excuse me, it wouldn't be that. That wouldn't be the case, or that shouldn't be the case. And I feel like that's where we're going tech wise. Where that lack of privacy is being lost. So yeah, but then again, I am super in the system. I mean, I got an Apple Watch, voice recognition with the watches, the phone, apps themselves. Over time have shown that they, steal data like that. Facebook was sued. I'm pretty sure. I'm saying allegedly. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Facebook was sued. Allegedly, it was sued because it was stealing data and listening to users. So yeah, I mean, to them it's a fine because they're a company. So guess what? You listen to people's data, information, conversations through um, through a year's worth of time, and then they find out, and you're like, well, it's fine because we'll just have to pay $5 million, and everyone's fine. So to them, when you're rich, these things become when you have power, when you have money, when you have resources, you can pull people you can talk to, people that can help you with that kind of stuff. It seems because I wouldn't know. I'm not part of that. I'm not rich. Um, but it seems like the crime, if a poor person would do that, or a normal person would do that, they would be penalized by the law. But it seems like a lot of times with companies, high executive, people with a lot of money, when it comes to problems that they break, laws that they break, they just end up paying a fine and it's done. But they don't face it as equally as someone that's normal income, average level of income, because guess what? They don't have the resources to pull like that. Having five lawyers, stuff like that, where they can call 5, 10 lawyers and figure it out, and then have it where they can basically dwindle it down to some small. But yeah, I mean, regardless, yeah, it just seems like people need to have power. People need to have more power because they do have the power. People can stop boycotting. All that works. That's what governments don't want you to listen to.
Double O.
You being, you know, you having your own rights. That is also a thing. You know, a lot of people, I think, lack uh, that self-respect when it comes to um, what they're entitled to, especially in America. Especially in America, you're entitled to so much. But I think there's people that can abuse it, and there's people that are in power that know they can abuse it and push that as far as they can until someone says stop, and then they deal with that person, and then until more people come, then that's a bigger problem for them. But it seems like people get abused, and then it's normal for them, so they just normalize it. So who knows? But yeah, overall, I like the items that I have. I think they're great. I think I can do a lot more with them. I got footage of my glasses at work, so I'm gonna put that on this video. So yeah, okay, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Um, yeah, I'm getting tired, as you can tell. I'm sure you can tell for the last 10 minutes. So I'm gonna eat my apple, drink some water, listen to my book, and then call it a day here. So see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.